Hey guys, I'm back with a new episode called What If Naruto Was the Reincarnation of Indra, Ashura and Hagoromo Part 2. Like and subscribe, it motivates me to keep doing these. Thanks. Naruto would wake up the next day. He looked at his clock and noticed he was running late, so he quickly got dressed and started to make his way to the academy. As he was walking through the streets, the villagers were staring at him, curious about the blonde's new look. He just continued on his walk. Soon arriving at the academy, he made it to his classroom. Noticing everyone was already there, some were talking and laughing with each other, while Sakura and Ino were fighting over who should sit with Sasuke. Choji was smacking on some chips, Kiba was trying to impress Hinata, Sasuke was being the emo king, and Shino was playing with his bugs. Naruto walked into the room. When everyone saw him, they all had one thought: is that really Naruto? Ino was blushing because she thought that this new version of Naruto was hot, but Naruto didn't pay their stares any mind. He just continued to walk and sat at the back of the class near the window. Everyone just whispered to each other, wondering what happened to the blonde. 5 minutes later, Iruka walked in. All right class, everyone be seated, but suddenly his eyes got caught on the blonde in the corner. He slowly walked towards him and asked Naruto, is that really you? Naruto just gave him an affirmative nod as he began to walk towards the front of the class, preparing to give his speech. Sasuke glared at the blonde, wondering what happened to him. He wanted to ask, but his ego and pride wouldn't let him, while Sakura glared daggers at Naruto, thinking that Naruto was trying to be cooler than her. Sasuke-kun, Naruto felt like he was being watched. He turned to his right and he saw Hinata staring at him, but as soon as he looked her way, she turned with a slight blush on her face, while Ino couldn't stop taking occasional glances at the blonde. Iruka coughed, getting everyone's attention. He began to speak. Well, as you all know, today will be the day that decides if you will graduate and become Jinin. We will be testing you in the classroom across the hall. We will call each one of you individually, so please listen for when your name is called. Time went by as we can see most of the people come one by one with happy faces showing their headbands. Only 3 people failed, mainly because they were civilians. Naruto and Sasuke were the last ones to be called. Sasuke went in first, and about 10 minutes later he returned with a cocky smirk, showing off his headband. All the fangirls praised him. Eventually Naruto heard his name get called. He got up and began to make his way over to take the test. Sasuke, being arrogant, said out loud that loser is going to fail. He is nothing but a dope. They all began to laugh, but Naruto just walked past him as if he was completely irrelevant. Sasuke gained a scowl on his face. He hated being ignored, especially by a dope. He was in a chiha. He thought Naruto walked in where he saw Iruka and Mizuki, who was looking at him with hatred but was trying to hide it. Mizuki was thinking that for sure he would fail and that he would use the demon to get the forbidden scroll. Naruto stood in front of them waiting for his first test. Naruto scored a perfect score on everything and was at his last test that would determine if he would pass or not, which he had to make 3 clones. Iruka doubted Naruto, already knowing how terrible the blonde was at making clones, while Mizuki was smiling inside, saying that this brat sucks at making clones. This will be his downfall, and then I will use the demon to get the scroll. Iruka told Naruto to make 3 clones. Naruto was going to make some wood clones but decided to keep his abilities under the radar for now, so he put his finger in a cross motion saying shadow clone jutsu. Just after those words he created 20 shadow clones. A loud puff was heard and the room filled with smoke. When the smoke finally disappeared, Iruka and Mizuki were shocked. In front of them were 20 perfect clones of Naruto, while Mizuki was seething at this, knowing that Naruto for sure had passed. He couldn't use him in his plan, while Iruka was happy that the blonde passed even though he lost his parents due to the Kyuubi attack. He doesn't hate the blonde as much as everyone else. Naruto would calmly ask, so how did I do? Iruka would respond with a slight smile and say you passed as he hands him a Konoha headband. Naruto stared at it for a moment before tying it around his arm, but before he could leave, Iruka stopped him saying, Naruto, how do you know about the shadow clone jutsu? He made up a quick lie saying he accidentally discovered it. Iruka just nodded. Naruto walked back to the classroom. As he entered, everyone was laughing at him. Sasuke saying I knew that dope was nothing. Sakura also joining in saying that Baka will never be better than my Sasuke-kun, but Ino got everyone's attention saying no guys, he did pass. Look at his right arm. Everyone looked and say the Konoha headband tied around his arm. Naruto would just walk calmly back to his seat, not saying a word. Sasuke would say to himself, I guess he's not a complete loser after all. Ino would be staring at him inwardly happy that the blonde passed. Naruto would look at her and wink, making the Yamanaka blush. 10 minutes later, Iruka would return to the classroom and say I'm proud of you guys and I'm looking forward to the shinobi you all will become in the future, but now I will be calling the teams and your Jonin sensei. He began to call the teams Up until here each Team 7 will be Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno, along with Naruto Uzumaki, and your Jonin sensei will be Kakashi Haddock. Sakura jumped with joy, knowing that she was on the same team as her Sasuke-kun, while all the other fangirls dropped their head disappointed that they weren't going to be on the same team as Thais. Sasuke Iruka spoke again. Team 8 will be Hinata Hyuga with Shino Aburam and Kiba and Yuzuka. After Iruka finished with all of the team assembling, everyone waiting for their Jonin sensei to pick them up one by one, all the team were picked up and left with their Jonin sensei. Kurenai arrived and picked up her team. She noticed that there was one team left that was still waiting for their sensei. She saw the Uchiha getting pestered by the pink-head fangirl, and she also noticed a blonde sitting in the back. She stared for a moment because of his transformation. He looked handsome to her. She didn't know everything about him, just say him time to time around the village, but she began to become more interested in the blonde as she then left with her team, leaving Team 7, the only ones still waiting for their sensei to arrive. They sat and waited for 2 hours. Within those 2 hours, Sakura continued to ask Sasuke on a date pestered him, but the emo Uchiha simply ignored her. He occasionally stole glances at the blonde, wondering what really happened to him, but just snorted, saying, "Emo Uchiha, why should I care about that loser Naruto?" During the 2 hour, just sat and looked out the window thinking about how he was going to take over the shinobi world, fix its flaws. He also thought about one day leaving the village and creating his own and building his empire, but he still had a while before he could do that. He first had to build a name for himself. Naruto mindset changed after being with the sage for so long. He was more wise and calculating and didn't talk as much as he used to, but he was not a emo. Eventually, Naruto got tired of waiting on Kakashi. He knew about the Sharingan-wielding Jonin and that he gained a reputation in the Third Great Ninja War, but before he could get up and walk to the door, in a shunshin, a man with white hair that seemed to defy gravity, with a green Jonin flat jacket and blue shinobi pants and blue shinobi sandals and a hentai headband that covered his left eye, appeared reading a orange book. He looked up and said, "My first impression is that you guys are boring." He noticed Naruto sitting by the window and was a little surprised by his new appearance in the blonde's folder about him. He looked nothing like the Naruto he was seeing in front of him. Kakashi got out of his shock and said, "Meet me on the roof." As he disappeared in a leaf shunshin, Naruto stood up and also disappeared in a leaf shunshin. Sasuke, upon seeing this, gritted his team and stormed out the classroom, going to the rooftop, with Sakura following behind. He a little confused on why Sasuke was angry about what Naruto just did. Meanwhile, Kakashi appeared on the roof a few seconds later. Naruto also appeared in a shunshin. Kakashi said to himself, "Shunshin? But how does he know how to do that?" The reports about him said that he didn't know any techniques. First, the new appearance, his body is well in shape, so I can tell he might be hiding some of the talent, and also he can do the shunshin. I'll keep an eye on him. Maybe he will reveal some of what he is hiding during the bell test. I will give." Then 10 minutes later, Sasuke and Sakura would arrive out of breath. They gathered together and sat down while the Uchiha was glaring daggers at the blonde, but Naruto continued to ignore him, further angering the emo king. Kakashi would get their attention and say, "How about we introduce each other? Tell your name, dislikes, your likes, and dream for the future." He would say, "You start." Pinky looking at Sakura, but she would then say, "How about you go first, sensei?" Kakashi gave a small huff and said, "Fine, my likes, his name is Kakashi Haddock. My likes is none of your business. My dislikes I rather not say. And my dream is I'm not going to tell you. Now your turn, Pinky." Everyone would sweat drop at this, and Sakura would say, "You only told us your name, but fine, my name is Sakura Hirono. My like are," looks at Sasuke and giggles. "My dislikes is Ino Pig," and the looks at Naruto and says Naruto Baka out loud, but Naruto didn't even look her way. He felt that she was completely useless and was nothing but a fangirl. Sakura would say, "And my dream for the future," looks back at Sasuke and giggles. Kakashi sweat drops. "Great, I have a fangirls on my team." He then looks at Sasuke and says, "Your turn, emo king." Sasuke just snorts and say coldly, "My name is Sasuke Uchiha, and I don't particularly like or dislike anything, and my dream for the future is to kill a certain someone that I will make a reality." Sakura, after hearing this, just looked at him with hard eyes thinking, "Wow, my Sasuke-kun is so cool." Kakashi said to himself, "Great, not only do I have a fangirl, but I also have a emo stuck on the path of revenge. Hopefully I can turn him around." Kakashi then looked at Naruto and nodded, giving him the go-ahead. Naruto stood up and spoke in a serious voice and said, "My name is Uzumaki." Naruto, the third Hokage, who was watching through his crystal ball, was blown away by the blonde words, not expecting him to be so serious. It was a shock Because the blonde was always goofy and cheering, so seeing him this serious was a shock along with his new appearance, but it was strange he had seen the blonde a week ago, and he didn't look or act nothing like this, and the old man also wondered how did he change so quickly. There is no way he could have grown his hair that long in a week, so guessed that he used Jinjutsu, but it would have to be a Jinjutsu that was very powerful. He was the Hokage, the strongest shinobi in the village, and couldn't see through the Jinjutsu. That meant that the blonde was hiding things, and he was determined to find out. As he returned to watch Naruto through his crystal ball back with Naruto, everyone was shocked by the seriousness of the blonde. Sakura was angry, thinking that Naruto was trying to be cooler than her. Sasuke-kun, she approached Naruto, yelling about how he should stop trying to be cooler than her Sasuke-kun, and that he is nothing but a baka, but Naruto didn't pay her no mind. Sakura, seeing how he ignored, got even more angrier and threw a punch expectant to hit the blonde and put him in his place, but to her surprise Naruto dodged and kicked her in the stomach, sending her falling to the ground. Near Sasuke, Kakashi seen this and said, "You didn't have to kick her, Naruto," but Naruto only said, "She deserved it, equal right, she tried to hit me, so I defended myself." Kakashi, knowing he was completely right, let it go and said, "Alright, continue." Naruto would began to speak again and say, "My dislikes are people who can't tell a kunai from a scroll and people who judge someone before getting to know them. My likes are ramen and reading." He was going to say training, but decided to keep it to himself, "And my dream for the future, I rather not tell you." Kakashi just nodded and said, "Now that we got that out the way, I will tell you about the test I have for you tomorrow that will determine if you become Genin." Sakura, confused, would say, "But Kakashi-sensei, I thought we already were Genin." Kakashi chuckled and said, "No, you still have one more test to take before becoming Genin. Meet me at training ground 3 tomorrow morning at 6. Everyone nodded and said. Everyone dismissed. Naruto disappeared in a leaf sunshine, making Sasuke scowl and walk off with Sakura right behind him. Kakashi disappeared. Arriving at the Hokage's office, he knocked and walked in, seeing Hiruzen putting up his crystal ball. Kakashi started the conversation by saying, "I guess you seen everything right." Hiruzen only nodded. Kakashi would ask, "How do you think he was able to transform so fast? He is nothing like the Naruto I read about in the files." The old man would take a puff from his pipe and say, "The only reasonable explanation I could come up with was that he placed a powerful Jinjutsu on himself." Kakashi eye widened at this, "But how could he place a Jinjutsu on himself that even you and my Sharingan couldn't see through?" Hiruzen gave a small huff. "That's the thing, it's clear that Naruto is hiding things." Kakashi would say, "Do you want me to bring him for questioning?" The old man quickly dismissed the idea and said, "No, I just want you to keep an eye on him. If he could place a powerful Jinjutsu of that level, who knows what else he has hidden, and I don't know how he feels about the village. I want you to see if you can get him to reveal some more of his secrets and abilities tomorrow during the bell test." Kakashi silently nodded and left the office. After Kakashi was gone, Hiruzen leaned back in his chair and said to himself, "What are you hiding, Naruto? Back with our favorite blonde." He was walking down the streets of Konoha, making his way to his favorite eating place, the Ichiraku ramen stand. As he made his way, he noticed how the villagers were staring and whispering about how the demon has changed amongst themselves, and some completely ignored him, not even acknowledging his presence. Naruto just shook his head, saying to himself, "These fools, they hate what they don't understand. If only they knew that I am the child of their famous fourth Hokage." But telling them would be pointless, because even if his heritage was revealed, he knew most wouldn't expect him, and the ones who would be doing it because of who his father was, and the love would be fake. Note: Naruto learned about his heritage from the sage. He was even more shocked to find out he was the grandson of Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama. Flashback: the sage was telling Naruto about how Uchiha Madara fell in love with a woman who saved him after the battle with Hashirama at the Valley of the End. He would later have a child named Minato and sent him to Hidden Leaf Village at a very early age because due to who he was always on the run with people trying to claim the huge bounty on his head, but they always failed. But he didn't want his son to be in danger because of him, so he left him to the Leaf Village, and Minato doesn't really remember who his parents were because he was so young, and also because his Namikaze genes over-dominated his Uchiha genes, so he never woke the Sharingan. The sage continued saying, "And on your mother's side, Kushina Uzumaki, she was the daughter of Senju Tori, who was the grandchild of Senju Hashirama, but not by blood. His real family was killed as a child, so they adopted him and raised him." Tori got close to Hashirama while growing up and looked at the old man as his real grandfather. Also, they did the paperwork so that Hashirama would be his real grandfather, and Kushina's mother was a powerful Uzumaki from Yuzu, and they had sent Kishino off to the Hidden Leaf village before Whirlpool's destruction. Naruto had also learned about Whirlpool's destruction and that 3 villages attacked it to eliminate the Uzumaki, and he was enraged and swore to get revenge for his fallen ancestors. End of note. Naruto continued to walk and eventually arrived at the ramen stand. Seeing Tsuchi, he sat down where he saw Ino sitting on the other end of the stand, but she didn't notice him. Tsuchi came up to Naruto and said, what can I get for you?" Naruto with a happy smile. Seeing his favorite customer, he noticed his change, but didn't he think about it too much. "Let me have 27 bowls of ramen please," said the blonde with his signature smile. Tsuchi said it will be out in a minute. As he went to the back to get his order, Ino realized Naruto was there after hearing his name and decided to go sit next to him. She sat next to the blonde. Naruto didn't look at her, just waiting for what the girl wanted to say. Ino started the conversation. "Hey Naruto, what happened to you and what up with your different appearance?" Naruto looked at her with a smirk and said, "Why do you like what you see?" Ino blushed and turned her head the other way and said, stuttering, well you don't look too bad." Still trying to hide her blush, Naruto only chuckled at her embarrassment. Tsuchi arrived from the back with Naruto's order. He placed the bowls down and noticed a blonde girl and gained a grin and said, "My Naruto boy is a ladies' man," making the Yamanaka blush even more. She stuttered out, "It's nothing like that, okay Naruto," and Tsuchi just laughed at her antics. They all sat and talked while Naruto ate his who. A few hours later it was getting dark, so Naruto decided to go home knowing that he had to meet with his sensei tomorrow. So he hugged Ino and went on his way. In the few hours that he spent with Ino, she warmed up to him and confessed her feeling to him and how Sasuke never paid any attention to her, and Naruto accepted her feeling and was looking forward to getting to know her more. Naruto was getting close to his house when he saw 2 drunk villagers near his apartment. When they saw him they said, "Look, there goes the demon, let's kill him." The 2 drunken fools ran at Naruto, but Naruto just stood still with his hands in his pocket. When the fools were in striking distance, they cocked their fist back preparing to beat the demon. But before they could hit him, Naruto activated his Manjikyu Sharingan that looked like a combination of Sasuke and Madara's. Before the villagers could say anything, he locked eyes with them, muttering Tsukiyomi. He trapped them there, and 10 seconds later the 2 villagers dropped dead with blood coming out their ears, eyes and mouth. They were brutally killed and tortured for a year straight. Their brains were completely mush. Naruto continued his walk and arrived at his apartment. He went inside and laid on his bed, thinking about tomorrow. Meanwhile, 2 Anbu found the bodies of the villagers and took them to get their memories checked so they could know what happened. But Naruto wasn't a fool. He erased their memoirs so they wouldn't find nothing back. With Naruto, he sat on his bed thinking about Ino, his future and tomorrow, and when he would leave the village. Eventually he in his mindscape asking Kurama about his opinions and suggestions, but the fox told him he will go wherever Naruto goes because since he is the reincarnation of his father, he looks at Naruto as family and like a father figure since he is wise and mature like the sage. They talked for a while until Naruto eventually fell asleep. The next morning, Naruto woke up and got dressed and headed to the training ground. He arrived and sat up in a tree. He saw Sasuke and Sakura sitting down in the field, but he decided to stay hid until Kakashi arrived. 2 hours passed and Kakashi was nowhere to be seen. Sakura kept well being Sakura. Naruto was about to leave, but then a poof was heard and appeared Kakashi reading his famous orange book. Naruto jumped down from the tree and approached the group. Kakashi began to speak. "Today, I will give you the bell test." As he pulled out 2 bells from his pocket, Sakura confused said, "But Kakashi-sensei, it's 3 of us, but you only have 2 bells." Kakashi gave a smile. "That's because the one who doesn't get a bell will tied to a log and sent back to the academy." Sakura got nervous, knowing if she failed she couldn't be on the team with her Sasuke-kun. Kakashi looked at Naruto, who was calm and didn't seem to be worried. He said, "I see what he can do and what he is hiding to himself." Then he said out loud, "Ready?" The Jinnin nodded and got into position. "Go," he said, and they disappeared into the forest. Naruto just sat in a tree. He already guessed that the goal was teamwork to pass, but he knew trying to convince his teammates was pointless. He hid in a tree, waiting until Kakashi eliminated the 2 so he could fight the copy Nin one-on-one. Meanwhile with Kakashi, he just got through putting Sakura in a Jinjutsu that showed her Sasuke being killed. She passed out from shock. Kakashi sweat dropped at this. It was a D-rank Jinjutsu and she still couldn't see through the illusion. He arrived back in the clearing and opened his orange book. Soon Sasuke arrived and said, "I will show you the power of Uchiha," and charged at the Jonin. Kakashi looked at Sasuke and said, "He is a little faster than I expected." But nothing impressive. Sasuke threw a punch that was easily dodged. He threw a kick that was also easily avoided. This went on for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes we could see a tired and sweaty Sasuke and a Kakashi who never stopped reading his book. Kakashi said, "Is this all? I was expecting more from the lad Uchiha, but I guess I got my hopes up." Sasuke gritted his teeth and began to go through hand signs. Kakashi releasing the hand signs he was weaving white in his eye. Fire style great fireball jutsu, Sasuke yelled, and big fireball the size of a big beach ball came from his mouth rushing towards the Jonin. When the fireball hit its designation, Sasuke gained a cocky smirk, saying to himself, "That's what he gets for talking to an Uchiha like that." But with the fire and smoke cleared, Sasuke was stunned, seeing a burnt look in the place of the Jonin. He began to look around but couldn't find him. Nowhere. In a second he heard down here. He looked down and saw two hands grabbing his feet. Before he could do anything, he was pulled deep underground up to his neck. Kakashi appeared in front of him, still reading his book. "Get me out of here," said the pissed Uchiha. Kakashi only chuckled. Sakura, who had just woke up, rushed to Sasuke trying to free him, but it was no use. Kakashi noticed that he had one student missing. Naruto jumped out the tree and said, "Now it is my turn." Sakura said, "Baka, you can't take on Kakashi-sensei. Help me free Sasuke-kun." Naruto just ignored her. Kakashi and Naruto stood from a distance facing each other. Kakashi was still reading his book but was on guard, watching, wanting to see what the blonde could do. Naruto took a battle stance that Kakashi wasn't familiar with, but before he could think, Naruto dashed forward. Kakashi white in his eye and shock speed. The blonde was moving. He estimated that he was moving at low Chunin speed. Kakashi quickly put away his book, knowing that if he did not take Naruto seriously, he would be beaten by a fresh genin. Naruto and Kakashi exchanged in an even battle of hand-to-hand combat. Sasuke scowled, seeing the blonde go toe-to-toe with Kakashi. Meanwhile, Naruto started to lose ground because Kakashi started to pick it up. Kakashi quickly jumped back and got space and threw hand signs and said, "Fire style fireball jutsu." A fireball twice the size as Sasuke came from the Jonin and rushed towards Naruto, but before it could hit him, Naruto substituted with a clone. Kakashi vaulting himself. He's pretty good for a fresh genin. I wonder who trained him. Back with Naruto, he was a safe distance away from Kakashi in the wood. He decided not to use any jutsu and stick to the basics as he pulled out some kunai. Meanwhile, back with the Kakashi, he was still thinking about how good the blonde was and potentially more hidden abilities, but he was quickly brought out his thoughts when he heard kunai heading towards him from some trees. He quickly pulled out his own kunai and began to deflect the kunai. Naruto jumped down from a tree and began to engage in hand-to-hand combat with Kakashi again. Kakashi landed a blow to Naruto's face but was shocked when Naruto poofed away in smoke. His eyes widened and he said, "A shadow clone. But how does he know that jutsu?" he said to himself. Still stunned, Naruto took advantage of his shock and appeared behind him and punched Kakashi, sending him across the clearing. Kakashi got up and was getting ready for round 2, but before they could engage in combat, a clock rang signaling the end of the test. Everyone came and sat down. Sasuke, who was furious because the blonde outdid him and landed a hit on their sensei, something didn't come close to doing. Kakashi started explaining the true meaning of the test and told them how they failed because they didn't use teamwork. But before he could finish, Naruto pulled out 2 bells, stunning Kakashi. He looked at his waist and saw that the bells were missing. How, he asked Ann in disbelief. This was the first time someone ever took the bells from him. Naruto just grinned. "The moment I hit you, I quickly took the bells from your waist, but you never noticed because you were too busy trying to test my strength." Kakashi got over his shock and asked, "What will you do now?" Naruto threw the 2 bells at Sakura and Sasuke, who both caught them. Naruto then said, "This means we passed, right?" Kakashi just gave an eye smile and dismissed the team and passed them. Kakashi went to the Hokage's office to give the report about his team. When he arrived, he saw Kurenai and Asuma giving their report for their teams to the Hokage, saying that both teams passed and showed great teamwork. Hiruzen, upon seeing Kakashi, asked, "So how did your team do?" Expecting a report on Naruto. "They passed," said Kakashi, shocking everyone. Sakura did terribly and couldn't break a D-rank Genjutsu. Sasuke's skills were sloppy, but he was able to pull off a fireball jutsu, and Naruto was a different story. He showed great skill in hand-to-hand combat. He also knows the shadow clone technique, and he managed to hit a good blow on me and take both bells by himself, leaving everyone even more shocked. But that wasn't the only thing. For some reason, I could tell that he was holding back. Kurenai, when hearing this, became more interested in the blonde. The old man took a puff of smoke from his pipe and leaned back in his chair. Note: Hiruzen knows about Naruto's true heritage and that he is the grandson of Madara Uchiha and Shinju Hashirama, and was planning on revealing his heritage to the village when he became a Chunin. End of note. After that day, 2 weeks would go by and Team 7 had already completed a few missions but was looking for a higher rank mission, so we see Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura along with Kakashi in the Hokage's office assigned with a new C-rank mission, which was to escort the bridge builder Tazuna back to the land of waves. A few minutes later, a drunk old man walked into the Hokage's office. Upon seeing the people who were going to escort him back to the land of waves, he said, "Great." As Cyclops and a bunch of brats, Sasuke scowled at that, but Kakashi quickly calmed him down. The Hokage assured the bridge builder that they were capable for this mission, so then Kakashi told Team 7 to pack their things and meet at the gate in 10 minutes. Everyone soon met at the front gates and went on their way to the land of waves. The team was walking down a path when a scene of puddle. Sakura and Sasuke didn't notice anything, but Naruto and Kakashi gave each other silent nods, realizing that the puddle was a genjutsu. All of a sudden 2 men appeared. Kakashi quickly recognized them as the demon brothers from the mist. Kakashi ran forward with a kunai but was cut down by one of the brothers. Sakura and Sasuke shook with fear, seeing their Jonin sensei get cut down, but Naruto stayed calm. Knowing that Kakashi substituted with a clone, he poured out a kunai and rushed the demon brothers, taking them out. Kakashi and Naruto would then look at Tazuna, realizing that this was no normal C-rank mission. Tazuna eventually ended up telling them all about Gato and how he has took over the land of waves and that they have become very poor because he has taxed all of the people there. Kakashi, realizing that this C-rank mission was going to turn into a ranked mission, asked his team if they still wanted to continue. They all nodded and began to move on. They were walking through the mist when Kakashi yelled, "Get down." As soon as they got down, a large blade to pass them hitting a nearby tree and lodging itself in it, and appeared a man with white bandages that covered the bottom half of his face, blue pants, and a blue hidden mist headband. This person was known as Zabuza, the demon of the hidden mist. Alright guys, that's all for part 2. Please like, comment and subscribe, it helps a lot and motivates me to keep doing these videos. Thanks.